I, 27 female, screamed at my husband, 28 male, over his hobbies, and now he's changed, and I don't know how to fix this.
Oh, man.
Hey.
Oh man is right. We're already off to a bad start with this story. A man's hobbies are his safe haven, his peace. They are what he truly enjoys to his core. So when a man lets you in and shares that with you, that's him trusting you, at least for the moment. But she turned it back on him and tried to demean him about it. This goes into what many men have said throughout history as to why they don't open up to women. They claim she will end up throwing it back in your face later when it benefits her. But let's continue on with the story. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Alright, let's go.
And I don't know how to fix this.
Oh, man.
Hey everyone, I need some advice about a situation with my husband. We've been married for 4 years. He has a room where he keeps all his hobbies: sim racing, aviation setups, soccer analysis tools, Lego sets, music production equipment. Basically, it's his sanctuary. He's super analytical and loves writing down and dissecting things, from sports to politics. He's slightly on the spectrum and very introverted, so he doesn't have close friends. I'm really the only person he shares everything with. He's always inviting me into his space to be part of his interests. I love him and appreciate that he wants to include me, but sometimes I just need some time for myself.
This trend is getting more and more popular. As people in society become more secluded and people become more introverted, they tend to bury themselves in their work and hobbies. Which is the case here. This man is married, has little to no friends. All he has is his work, hobbies, and his wife. But in a marriage, your spouse is supposed to be your best friend. At least that's what this guy thought. So he's oversharing with her about all of his interests, and it seems like she just got exhausted with it all. But let's see.
Recently, I snapped. I yelled at him, saying some hurtful things that I didn't mean, like how his interests bore me, that he needs to get a social life, and even questioned why I married him.
Okay. It sounds like you hate your husband.
I regret every word, but my anger got the best of me, and I couldn't control it in that moment.
Wow, sounds like she said the quiet part out loud. That was a low blow. A few things here. I could understand her saying that his hobbies bore her. That's understandable, as they're his hobbies, based off of his special interest. We don't all have to like the same things. So that's not too bad, and telling him to get a social life was a tough one, because some introverts have struggles making friends. But again, he's married, so maybe he's okay with his work, hobbies, and wife being his whole world, so that was bad. But the real punch in the gut, the real arrow from the crossbow, that landed straight through the heart, was the "I question why I married you" part. I'm sure that one hit deep. You can question his hobbies, and feel he needs to get out more, that's fine. But having second thoughts on your marriage because of it, that's the hook, line, and sinker right there.
Since then, he's completely changed. He stopped spending time in his room, moved to sleeping on a couch, and barely talks to me. He even ignored our usual tradition of watching our home nation's soccer team play, something he'd never skipped before. Since
this is what happens when a man loses his trust in a woman. He starts to shut down. This is the beginning stages of it, as she mentions that he barely talks to her. At the very beginning of losing trust, a man's trying to figure out which things are okay to share, and which things aren't. This is like when you have a coworker that you're best buddies with, and you guys are open and talk about everyone to each other. But then they end up snitching on you, and then you realize that you can no longer talk to that coworker as freely as you once did, because the trust is broken. That's what's happening here. Also, she said his hobbies bore her, so naturally he's not going to want to include her when he does his hobbies anymore, like watching the soccer game. That's the consequences of saying what she said, and she sounds shocked by it. This is because most women live in a world where their actions have no consequences because they're coddled by society. Whenever they do or say something immoral, people just chuck it up too, "Oh, she's just a woman." And they just drop it. But in a marriage with your partner, there will be consequences, and this woman is experiencing them firsthand.
Instead, he was working on his laptop, breaking our no work at home rule. When I asked him about it, he said he didn't care about the game and mentioned that maybe he should be more like his father, who's a workaholic and whom my husband idolizes. He even added, "I don't blame him for divorcing at the age now."
This sounds like a man that has lost his best friend. Now he's thinking about working more like his father did, which would mean that he would be out of the house more and away from his wife. Also, bringing up that his dad was around the age he is now when he got a divorce definitely means that he may be considering it, as his wife basically just told him that she hates everything about him. And if she didn't say it in those exact words, I'm sure that's how he heard it.
Apologized multiple times, but he just says, it's okay, maybe you're right, and shuts down any attempts I make to talk about his interests. I'm terrified he's considering divorce. I know I messed up, but I don't know how to rebuild trust and help him feel valued and loved again. I don't want to lose him, but I'm unsure how to approach this and make amends. Any advice?
Yeah, at this point the apologies mean nothing. This is like when someone gets caught stealing and then apologizes. They're more than likely only apologizing because they got caught. They're not apologizing for what they actually did. The only advice I can give to her is to give it time. But after someone tells you they hate all of your hobbies, is there any amount of time that can pass where you'll just forget they said that and start sharing your hobbies and interests with them again? I don't know. I guess she'll find out if he doesn't divorce her first. We'll see.
You definitely have to go to therapy, learn how to communicate better. Couples therapy could help as well if he's willing to. But yeah, it seems like you're just dumping on your husband for who he is as a person.
His home and that room and her was his safe space. And the fact that like he got yelled at for it, to me, that's betrayal. It's just like, wow, you can't accept me for who I am. And that's a huge deal breaker for me.
Okay, that's going to do it for this one. I am interested to read all of your thoughts about this down in the comments. If you enjoyed watching this, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel as it will help it grow. Also make sure to check out some of my other videos touching on different topics like this one. Thanks again, take care.